Hey look, Reaper posted a new video on a fairly recent schedule. Don't get used to it. Especially since the games I want to review after this are going to require a lot of time out of me. With that said, The Magic Circle. This is a game that, to my knowledge, hasn't been that popular despite coming out in July of 2015. That's a little over 2 years ago. Well, to simply put, I noticed that Jim Sterling did a video on it a long while ago and had it on my Steam wishlist ever since. Then it went on sale and here we are. After playing through it, I knew I had to review this game, so let's dive in. You start out as a playtester in what looks like an unfinished alpha. Or is it? Nah, the whole game is stylized as one, and it does work in its favor, both in terms of gameplay and story. Speaking of story, you continue to walk down the road of a burning village and soon run into your mother, before two robotic eyeballs come in and one of them takes away your ability to fight back. Asshole. These eyeballs are the developers of the game you're playtesting, with the blue one being named Ish and the red one being Maze. No, not that Maze! Though that reminds me, do Fable video in the future, and I'm holding on to that. Anyways, after Ish takes away your sword and ability to fight, you continue down the gate. 4 keys thrown in later, and you soon end up at a bunch of hellhounds who own your ass, and you become what this game calls ghostified. I'll go more in depth with that later, but for now, this allows us to cross the bridge that Maze deleted earlier. You then meet 2 new characters to the story, one of which is Coda, an intern working for Ish who... The best way I can describe her is to imagine a loyal fan joining onto an official project of the thing they're a fan of, like someone from the Steven Universe fandom joining Rebecca's team. The other is simply named Pro, and he's the deepest character here. I'll elaborate more on Pro later, but for now he gives us a chance to really explore this world. After informing us on a few things, such as how he's a prisoner in this realm, and that the eyes, which he calls Sky Bastards,
I call them Sky Bastards,
can't seem to make up their minds about this place. After being ghostified by Coda, you bitch, the Pro then tells us about life. While yes, this does correlate to our actual life bar, it is far from the only use. You use it to set traps for other creatures out there, revive entities in the world, and so on. When you take too much damage, you will then ghostify and revive near the nearest crack in the world, which contains this life that you need to bend this world to your will. I also mentioned earlier that you can use life to trap creatures. When you do so, you can press E and hack into the creature, allowing you to change its moves, attacks, who its allies and enemies are, and what special attributes that your creature have. While you can't trap every creature, such as those who fly or float, you can use your press to ghost them and alter them afterwards. So as I continue to explore the area around here, I soon find a cave filled with what I assume are missing textures before going into what I can only describe as a mid-80s sci-fi game. I mean, look at it. It has the same texture quality as Doom. The first one, not the reboot. Anyways, after a bit of wandering, I find a door which requires 2 players to open, but Pro believes that the coding behind the scanners are lazily made, so he offers us a solution, but first we have to find him. Here he is! He's just hibernating. I sat down a trap to capture the pod, took over, changed his gender, and then stole his arms. His arms give me the power to place beacons, which I can call my pet over towards it. Honestly, outside of this, I never use it. There isn't much of a point to this ability. Once we manage to get out of there, Coda soon sees all the old sci-fi stuff from before. Apparently she saw it when she was a little girl doing a demo, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Also, she has Maze's brand rights, apparently. Oh yeah, I should mention that, huh? Maze is, or rather was, a pro gamer who was a part of a guild back when Ish was running a text-based MMO. How? She soon joined up and sometime afterwards helped with the development of the current game, and that was 10 years ago. Didn't realize Ish was Square Enix, huh? Yeah, I know. You'd be surprised, but until you capture Coda's eye thing, which I'll get to in a bit, the story takes a bit of a back seat. Wandering around, you'll find these glitchy objects. Trapping and hacking into these objects will give you a recording that the Pro managed to snag and allow you to learn more about the behind the scenes of the development of this game, such as how Maze keeps recordings of all the salty players she managed to beat over the years. However, I don't want to reveal too much of these for 2 reasons. 1, because they're spoilers to the game's backstory, and 2, the fact that these can get really weird sometimes. So, I mentioned earlier that you can take parts and edit the entities, which is where a lot of the gameplay and level design comes from. You can gather up different creatures with different powers, such as Float, which is really good for platforming, a protection spell, a fucking railgun, and a tractor beam, which is what I used to get Coda's eye. After using the railgun to ghost her and take over, I then, with Pro's help, hack into her eye thing and head to the obvious parody known as E4. There, her and a small team of developers put together a quick demo. If this demo reel goes well, it's another prison sentence for old Pro because, you know, they'll take forever again. So, what do I have to do? Try to ruin it. Simple enough. I had 2 of the guards attack her because that's literally all I had time for. After Maze kills off the guards, I then have to act quickly and edit the baby. What did I do? I gave the baby propellers and a railgun. It's the funniest thing ever. This basically ruins the whole demo, to which Itch gets pissy and Coda pulls out a...
This is a limited edition, molded resin Securitron figurine with inbuilt laser sight.
Yeah, that. She then threatens Ish to make the magic circle public domain and allow her and those on the forums to take over the development. After all is said and done, he then makes a massive speech about how I am Control itself and how I managed to beat him, and then proceeds to beg me to cut the feed. Which I only did because, well, what other choice did I have? Watching a man in his early 60s grovel at a camera is just depressing. So, after all is said and done, Ish then announces that he's giving up the world and that everyone has 1 week to build a playable demo. After that week, the electricity will shut off, disabling the servers. The person who can make the demo gets the property. Guess how this ends? Just guess.
No, don't you see? We've already won! There's no contest, you don't have to compete! That's what he wants! Can't you see? Damn it, stop playing around! You don't understand! It's not just a game anymore! It's not just a game!
Yeah. Thanks to Pro's help, I was given access to the level design stuff, as well as life to spawn stuff in like monsters, health potions, treasures, story models, and so on. Why? Well, it turns out that in order for him to be truly free, Pro requires some sort of game to be shipped, and he believes that by allowing me to build up a dungeon and play testing it for me, he'll finally experience something new and be free. I'll just go ahead and show what the dungeon I end up creating is.
Huh. Okay. I feel almost motivated now. If you kids are streaming this, I'm having more fun than you. Hey, I ain't seen that yet. Nice. Makes the thing feel less linear when you hide stuff like this. Whoa! I might share this with my friends! I should get some friends. I am no longer just pretending to care. An actual surprise. Now that's something. Loot. Yeah. Feel like I earned this. Needed this badly, which is a good thing, by the by. Sweet spot. Yeah. Treasure should be an aha moment.
This got me a 9 out of 10, surprisingly. The game ends with everyone on the development team trying to contact me all at once. Is this what heading a game project is like? So, what were my overall thoughts on the game as a whole? Maybe this is the inner game dev in me talking, but I genuinely enjoy this game. The overall theming behind it, the ability to mix and match your creatures and so on, is actually kind of fun. Sure, there are some parts I don't like how there's a lot of backtracking or how the mouse sensitivity is really weird, but those are nitpicks to a game I consider really good. I'd honestly recommend this game to anyone who wants to try out game development and to see what projects like this can really do. With that, this video comes to a close. I will see you all next time.